Contacting property owners directly is a brilliant way to find amazing deals, and sending them letters is a great way for you to connect with motivated sellers. However, this used to be a time-consuming, technical, and frustrating process, often involving spreadsheets and difficult to use websites. But once again, Property Filter has changed the game. The new direct-to-vendor letter campaign manager makes it easy for you to send, manage, and track the letters that you send out in the most cost-effective way possible. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your letter preferences, create a new letter template, create a new campaign, add letters to that campaign, send out letters for that campaign, manage your responses, and finally, I've got some quick letter tips and tricks as well. So let's get into it. So the first thing that we need to do is just set up our letter preferences, and you don't need to do this every time. It's just when you first start using the direct-to-vendor letter manager. So I'm currently here in my Property Filter account, and we just want to go down to Send Letters here on the left-hand side menu, and you'll see that at the top we've got a little cog icon. So if I just click on that one, we've just got a couple of things in here that we need to set, and that's the email address and phone number for our letters. Now, clearly for letters, the main thing we want to do is to get property owners to contact us in whatever way is most comfortable to them. So it's really sensible just to put an email and a phone number into all of your letters to give them a couple of options. And you do that here. You can also go and put a company logo. So it's currently the Property Filter one, but all you would do is click on Upload, go and select the file that you want to use, and then that logo will appear on the right-hand side of every letter that you send out. So once you've selected that, you then just go and press Save. And one thing to note is that that phone number and email address is purely to do with the direct-to-vendor letters, so it doesn't impact on your login for your Property Filter account, any of that sort of billing side of things. It's purely just for letters, so you can have different things for your billing compared to your direct-to-vendor letters. Next up, let's go and create a new letter design. So in Property Filter, head to Send Letters, and then at the top you'll see that we've got letter designs, and there are a few in here already, but let's create a new one from scratch. So I'm just going to click on Add a New Batch Design, and there's a couple of different options. So firstly is Property Filter provides you with loads and loads of templates based around the motivation that you can go and use. So for example, let's go and select Price Reduced. So if I click on that one, you can now see that underneath we've got 4 different letters and all of them have got templates, and I'll get to those in a second. You can also go and look at templates you created previously and have saved, so you may want to reuse one of them. And then also you can literally start from scratch if you wanted to go and start putting your own text into the letters. So moving forwards with this Property Filter template, here there are 4 letters, and each one has got the relevant text based around the motivation of price reduced. So if we have a quick look in here, we can see that it says that it mentions price reduction of your property within the text. It lists the property address, and that's what the curly brackets are for. So it goes and puts in this token into the body of the letter to go and put the specific address. It also goes and lists the phone number and the email address that you set up in part 1, etc. And then you can go and put your name at the end. And you'll see that there are the 4 letters, and if we click on letter 1, letter 2, etc., you can see the various text. And if you want to see what it looks like in a letter format, just go and click on the I next to any of these. It'll go and load it up, and here you can see what it actually looks like with the logo formatted as a letter, so you can get a little sneak peek. And you can see here, for example, email address, that's where it will go and insert your actual email address. So I'm just going to go and cancel that one. So let's say that we're happy, we like how these are all set up, we don't want to make any changes. All we do then is just go and select Next. Then let's just go and give it a name. So it's already put in Price Reduced. So we could say that this is version 1, for example, and then we just go and press Save. It adds it to the list here, and you can see that it's now at the bottom, and it's made up of 4 letters. So let's go back in and edit this. So I'm going to just click on the little pencil here to edit it, and you can see above the actual letters we've got the quantity and the timing. So now if I go and open this, you can see that this is a batch of 4 letters, and it's sending them out every 2 weeks. So all of the templates that have been created by Property Filter are based on loads of past experience and best practice. And we generally find that letters every 2 weeks works really, really well, and 4 of them. But if you want to tweak that, that's absolutely fine. We could say that, say, letter 2, we could go and increase that. So after letter 2, it's going to then be a 3-week gap or a 4-week gap. You can just go and tweak these. You can also go and add in more letters just by clicking the plus, or you can go remove one by clicking the little trash can icon. And you'll see that underneath, we've now only got 3 letters, not 4. So once you've gone and selected the timing, you've gone and added or removed letters, again, just press next and then just go and press save. And that will go and save the campaign. And you can see that now price reduced is now 3 letters, not 4. And that's how you go and create your specific letters you're going to start sending out as part of a campaign. Once you've designed your letters, we now want to go and set up a new campaign. And a campaign is a specific set of letters that are sent out over time to your property owners. So to do this, it's really, really simple. So again, I'm currently here in my send letters section of property filter, and you can see that we've got the campaign section. So just click here on the create a new campaign button. And the first thing that we're going to do is give this a name. So for example, let's say that once a month we were going to go and target people who've had their properties price reduced within Coventry. So I may go and call this price reduced. This is Coventry. And this is September 24, for example, but you can call it whatever you'd like. Then once we've gone and named it, we then want to click next. We want to say, right, which design that we created in the previous step do we want to use? So I've got a few in here, but let's go obviously with the price reduced. So just click on that one, it selected it, and then we just go and click save. Great, and you can see that at the top we've now got our price reduced in Coventry. No addresses have been added this yet. We can see which letter design it's using, and then eventually we'll be able to go and review and send that, and I'll show you in a future step plus the cost. So that's how you go and create a new campaign. And then just to say, once it's then running, it then moves here into the active status, and I'll show you that in a future step in just a sec too. So we've designed our letters, we've created our campaign. So the next step is to go and select which properties do we want to go and send letters to as part of that campaign. And it's really, really easy, and we can do it in a couple of different ways. So the first way is through the lead generators page. So if I just go and click on that one, so let's go to our lead generators, and you can see we've got a couple of lead generators, and let's look at HMOs in Coventry. So if I click on check leads, you'll see that it lists our usual motivated seller banner here at the top. So there are currently 28 properties that are back and reduced, so really motivated. So let's say that we want to go and send them a letter. And this is really easy. So if you click on select all, you'll see that we've then got a few more options pop up, and one of them is send letter. Now, one thing to note is that this says send letter to 27, even though there are 28 properties in here. And that's because one of these properties, property filter has been unable to validate the address. So I'll show you that in just a tick, but let's go and cover these 27 first. So let's say we want to send letters to all 27 of these. All you do is click on send letter, and now we need to say, okay, which campaign is this going to be part of? So we'll click on here, and we'll just select the one that we've just created. So that's our price reduced in Coventry September. So we select that one and click save. And also just to note that you could also create a new campaign straight from this, this little pop-up. So let's click on save, and it will go and do its thing. It will take a couple of seconds just as it adds them. Great. And you can now see that it's got removed from campaign 27. So if we wanted to go and remove them again, we could do that here. Now, across each of the property cards, you can see that most of them have got this envelope in the middle. And if we hover over, you can see that it tells us which campaign this property is in, because a property can only be part of one campaign. So most of those have got this envelope, but as you remember, there are 27 here and 28 in the list. So there'll be one that doesn't have that envelope. And let me show you why that is. So if we scroll down, we'll look and try and find it. Great. So you can see the one here in the middle, it's missing an envelope. So let me click into here and we'll go show details. Now, as we scroll down on the left-hand side under due diligence, it's currently saying that this is 47 Goring Road and it's got validate the property address. So through automation, Property Filter hasn't been able to do this, but we might be able to do it ourselves. So it's just not sure. So if we can see the number perhaps in the pictures, or just have a look at what number it is, we can then go and click validate the property address and have a look in the list. And you can see there's number 47. So just go and click on select, and it's now gone and validated, and it's got a little tick. So it's just a case of making sure that if Property Filter hasn't done this automatically, you can go and do it manually. Sometimes it won't find the information at all, and you won't be able to send it a letter. So that's how you can go and add properties the first way to a campaign. The next way is through your pipeline. So rather than lead generators, let's hop over to the sourcing pipeline. And you'll see here that we've got a property that's listed. And if I hover over it, you can see that at the moment it's not part of a campaign. But you can send the property to a direct to vendor campaign just by clicking on this button. So let's say we wanted to include this one also in the campaign. So if I just click on the envelope, again, you get the same pop-up. So let's just go and say we're again going to do price reduced, select that campaign, and then just go and click save. And now it's a white envelope and it's part of a campaign. So you can do it in a big batch by using the select all. You can do it on a per property basis as well. And you can also do it through your lead generators or your sourcing pipeline. So it's really flexible for you to go and pick and choose the properties that meet your criteria, and you can then send them all out as one campaign. Once you've added properties to a campaign, it's then time to go and review them, do a quick double check, and then we can go and launch our campaign. So to do this, go back into your send letters section, and you'll see that we've just got the price reduced Coventry campaign we created earlier. And we've got the 28 addresses, so the 27 from our lead generator and the one additional. So if we hop into here, we can now actually go and look at all of the different addresses. Now, at the moment, Property Filter is still validating the addresses, and it needs to do this before you can send any letters out. So over time, they'll appear here in ready, and then you can go and kick off your campaign. So if I hop into one of these other ones, say for example, the price reduced, if we go into view, you can see that there are none in the address validation and they're all ready to go. So just be aware of that. So once we're in here, we can have a quick look, make sure that all the properties in here are places that we want to send letters to, then go and close it, and we've reviewed it, and now we just want to go and action. So if you go to review and send, you can then go and just double check. So for example, the first thing is, when do you actually want to send out your first letter? Now it may be immediately, but you may want to perhaps do it in a week's time. Maybe you're going away. You can go and set things up in advance, etc. So you can go and tweak the first delivery date, and you can go and say, when do you want that to go out? And you can see that this is again for 19 addresses, and there's the cost plus VAT, and it's ready. Then Property Filter, based on how you set up the campaign earlier, goes and sets up all of the different additional dates when each of these batches are going to go out. Property Filter only charges your card the day before this specific batch kicks off. So it'll only take the first lot, because over time you may remove properties, you may get responses, and Property Filter wants you to do this in the most cost-effective way possible. So in 2 weeks' time, you may have heard from 3 of these 19, so you can remove them, and I'll show you how to do that in a tick. So you're actually only paying for what you actually need. So here are the 4 batches. This is the card that you have on file. And then all you need to do is, once you've double checked, click the pay now, and that will kick off the campaign and the first batch. So once you've done that, you can then go and review and see how you're getting on, and it will hop down from draft here into an active campaign, and you'll see what's the next batch going to cost, how many batches have gone out, and we'll cover how to deal with responses in a minute, plus the dates. So that's how you go and kick things off. And the next thing we need to cover is when people get in touch. Once you've kicked off a campaign, we now need to go and manage any of the responses that we get from the recipients of our letters. And again, we do that in the send letters part of Property Filter. So here you can see our current active campaigns, how many addresses, what the letter design is, etc., etc. So let's say for short leases, we've actually got a new view in here, and that's how letters have been dealt with. So we've got letters that are waiting a response. Then we've got people who have contacted us, properties that we need to actually cancel, and then any that were excluded from the campaign, and those are not charged. So under waiting for responses, we've got 31 properties here, and if we scroll down, we can just see all of their usual details, etc. And let's say that we suddenly go and get a phone call from this property, and the landlord or the property owner wants to go and have a chat. So if you just click on it, you can see that we've got contact made. So just click on this one, and here we can quickly take down the details. So it may be Bob, owner. You can take down a mobile number, etc., etc. You can also take down an email address, and you can also go and make any notes. So find out more about the property. So why selling, what's their situation, all the usual bits and pieces when you speak directly to a property owner. Once that's done, you then go and click on confirm. And you'll notice that what happens is that this property has now disappeared from waiting response. That's dropped down to 30. And we've now got 3 within our contacted list. And what this means is, because we've now been contacted by the owner, we don't need to send them another letter, and we don't need to go and spend that money. So it's a great way for you to go and manage contacting just the people that you need to. In a similar way, under waiting response, let's say that we go and get an email from somebody who says, please don't contact me, I just want to sell my house normally. Well, in that situation, again, we can click on the property, but this time we just click remove from campaign. So it just double checks, do you want to remove them? Let's click yes. and then let's enter a reason. Let's say not interested in services. They don't want what we're offering, and just click save. And then at the top, again, we can see that waiting response is now gone down another one, so that's to 29, and cancelled is now 2. And again, you won't be charged in any future campaigns. And if I show you that a bit more detail, if I click close, we can now see that we've only got here letters for, so if I go into short leases again under action, if I click view, you'll see that our first campaign had 34, then the next one is 29, 29, and 29. So it's going to remove the other properties that we've said have either replied or no longer want to be contacted by us. So that's the way that you can go and manage all the responses to your letters. Now I've just got a few more tips and tricks to help you with the direct-to-vendor letter campaign manager. It's likely that you'll want to add sort of a bulk set of properties to a campaign in one go, which is why the sourcing pipeline or the lead generators is a great way to do that. But you may also want to just go and cherry pick properties, and you can actually add them to a campaign from the property details page. So to do that, let's just go and hop into our dashboard over here, and let's just go and say that we've got a property within our flips in Coventry, and let's just go and pick one of these properties. Let's just select this one and go show details. Now here on the property details page, if we scroll down, you can now see that we've got the letters campaign, and here we can do a couple of things. First up is we can just send them a letter. So you can select a campaign and pick one like we did earlier. So you can do it a property at a time. But another useful thing is that you can actually change the delivery address. So for example, if you've got a property which is an HMO, the owner clearly doesn't live there, but maybe you've managed to get their home address from perhaps the license list and you want to go and send the letter to their home address instead. All you would do is on the property details page, just go and scroll down, click here, change delivery address, and let's just go and add the postcode. So maybe it's a BS6. It will go and list them. Let's just go and pick a postcode, choose the address, and from here you can then go and change where that sends the letter to. So that's how you can go and add a different address in via the property details page. Another quick thing as well, you'll notice that we've still got the DTV letter generator here. So if you wanted to go and send out letters, maybe printing them at home, or you didn't want to go and use the automated system through Property Filter, you can still use ChatGPT to write you some great letters, high converting letters through the usual way. And if you want to know more, just check out the video about how to do this in the success base. Lastly, via the property details page, you can also go and update a property if you have sent out a letter to them. So for example, this property here, we've actually sent a letter to them already, and you can go and add whether you've made contact. You can remove them from a campaign. You can go and see a record of what the campaign was and the template. So there is loads of information on a per property basis as well, if you want to go and update them that way, and it just gives you the same dialog box as before. So you can do it all via the send letters area, or if you want to do it on sort of a per property basis, that's another great way to go and update your records. Great, so that takes us to the end of the how to use the direct-to-vendor letter campaign manager. So go and try it out for yourself, go and find some properties, create some letters, create your first campaign and get started, and I hope you find loads of amazing deals. Don't forget, if you need more help, there are plenty of videos in the success space, and if you need one-to-one tailored support, you can also book it through there as well. But other than that, happy deal hunting and good luck with your property investing. See ya.